Hi, friends, and welcome to episode 2 of Dan Tremblay Music. So, you're going to try to keep this intro short because we're going to get right to it. Wouldn't it be nice if you could create beautiful music without spending a whole lot of money, without going and spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on all these amazing sample libraries? What if you could get it done using free samples? Well, that's what we're going to do today. Using all free samples from Spitfire Audio, we're using the labs, creating a very, very atmospheric, underscore cinematic, haunting kind of track. It's very haunting. I like saying haunting. You're going to get inside the project. You're going to see the sounds that I used, how I used them. So let's just get right to it. All right, so there you have it, my friends. Okay, so that's the track. So very, very atmospheric, cinematic, kind of, piano-based track. This is a lot of what I do. If you're looking for epic, I'm not really your epic sort of composer. It's not really ever been my thing. I enjoy epic music, love listening to it. But I like kind of the more, I guess, underscore is the word that I would use. Something that can really be paired, with a quiet moment of, an indie film or something like that. Very, very background, just kind of sets the tone, sets the mood. So let me go through it. So these are all as promised, these are all free samples from Spitfire Audio Labs. We have 8, so very, very small track count, which is very intentional because this is a very, because it's kind of an atmospheric track. I feel like the more that you add to something like this, the worse it gets. You kind of want to just hear it breathe. I also really wanted to highlight Arctic Swells, which is a sample library that, if you haven't seen, John Mayer, Meyer, I get them mixed up. Not John Mayer, the singer, but anyway, the composer. I follow his channel. Great composer, great YouTube channel. Just a wealth of information. He's also really got an eye for videography, and stuff he films is very bang on. So this is his foray into kind of sample library sampling. If you haven't seen his video, I'll link it below. It's fantastic. He talks about how he created the Arctic Swell sample. So kind of wanted to highlight that because I follow his channel. I think he's fantastic. Listen to his music. Got some great stuff. He's got stuff up on Bandcamp. Very excellent composer and great YouTube channel. Highly recommend it. So I kind of wanted to highlight that, and because it's kind of a swell kind of a sound, if you bury it with too many tracks, you're not really going to be able to hear it. So I kind of wanted to highlight that. So we start off with the soft piano, just a very quiet, atmospheric, really soft. So I'll just play a little bit of the piano part on its own. Beautiful sounding soft piano. This, by the way, was take number 2. Okay, so this entire composition is off the grid. Okay, nothing is quantized, nothing is snapped onto the grid. There was no click track. I didn't set the tempo. I didn't even set the time signature. Time signature should be, by the way, 6/8. So if you're listening to it and you can kind of hear that kind of triplet compound kind of time, not triplet time, but in time in threes. Yeah, it should have been 6/8. I left it. I didn't touch the tempo. I didn't touch the time signature. I like to do this sometimes. I literally start with a blank template, throw some sounds together, and I just hit record and I go. I didn't have any idea of where I was going to go all I knew is that I was going to be an F minor. That was it. So I started in F minor. I did, this was the second take. First take, I don't know, something went wrong. Hit record. That was it. So that's why you can hear that it's very, you can't snap your fingers to it. You can't find the tempo. You can't find the downbeat. It's all over the place. And that's kind of how I wanted it to sound. Very free tempo, very spacious, very open. So that's the piano part. Let's check out the Arctic Swells. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so there's a perfect example of a sample library that sounds exactly like the name of it. Okay, I've never been to the Arctic, but that sounds like an Arctic swell to me. Okay, just an awesome sound. The order of these tracks, by the way, is also the order that I record them in. So I pretty much always sketch out things on the piano first, because that's my primary instrument and I'm most comfortable. I get that piano part down, sketch it out. Even if it's not a piano song, even if it's a piano part that I'm not going to keep, that's how I write out all the parts, and then I break them down afterwards. So I threw in some Arctic swells, very spacious, very open. Two notes at a time kind of thing. A lot of them are just one notes, and I literally just kind of matched where I was playing with the piano part. So I didn't have a click track to go to, so I literally just had to I do this a lot, just visually follow the part And as soon as I see where the piano part is coming in, well, I'm going to match my notes to that. Now, of course, afterwards, you might have to take your notes and shift them back and forth. I keep everything in MIDI right until the very end, until the final mix, and that way I can just tweak endlessly. Maybe the one exception is when I'm using like ambient guitars by Spitfire Audio. My system can just not handle that library, so pretty much I have to commit. I have to bounce those individual tracks down to audio, but most of the time, the vast majority of the time, I keep it all in MIDI. Okay, next track. I added the granular whale song depths because I figured Arctic and whales go together. I don't really know, but anyway, let's listen to that. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Dan, I don't hear anything. Well, trust me, it's there. Now, you might want to put on a nice pair of headphones. This is maybe not something that you'll hear as much as you'll feel it, which I think is really important. I love great headphone mixes. I love putting on those headphones and you just kind of feel it. You feel all those bass sounds just rumbling up inside. You'll hear it if you have a nice subwoofer as well. But anyway, just to add a little bit of texture underneath. Okay, and then we had we have Tundra Atmos Glacial Pad, continuing with the theme of snow. Maybe it's because it just snowed up here in Canada. So, and all I did was I literally took this track and I just copied it. This is the same track as Arctic Swells. I copied it and dropped it down here. Okay, and let's just listen to a little bit of that and check it out. Okay, so you can just kind of hear how that goes together. And that would also be the reason that, because I duplicated the parts, I do this a lot, I panned the tracks out slightly because they're duplicate parts. Arctic Swells a little bit off-center to the left. Tundra Atmos Glacial Pad a little bit off-center to the right. Not hard panned. These samples already have great stereo images, so I don't mess with them a whole lot. But when I have duplicate parts, just to give a nice stereo image, just a tiny little bit of panning, put those together. Okay, then we added synth pad number 4. Okay, why not number 1, 2, and 3? Well, because I like number 4, so let's check it out. Just adding a little texture there. It's duplicating basically that main kind of piano model that's going on, which is basically just in the key of F minor. It's basically using an F minor triad, minor third interval, just kind of going back and forth. So just kind of duplicating some of that top part of the piano model. Okay, then I wanted a little bit of texture in there. So I threw the dulcimer in there, and I start off with a hammered dulcimer, which I love, by the way, and I use it in my live looping shows that I do, which we'll be doing a video about how I put that together one of these days. But anyway, I started with the hammered one. It was a little bit too much, so then I checked out the Mini. Okay, it's like the Mac Mini of dulcimers. All right, so let's check this out. Now you might listen to that and you might be like, well, there's like nothing there. And it's very faint background to add a little bit of rhythmic element. Again, moving back and forth between that F and the A flat. Just a little bit of rhythmic texture. That's all it is. And then I added track number 7 here, Strings to Swell Ensemble. Again, continuing with that pulsating kind of swelling theme. Okay, so let's check this one out, and you can hear how that sounds on its own. Okay, great sound. Very cool sound on its own. It's very dissonant the way that I'm playing it. There's a lot of kind of closed kind of intervals in there with those minor thirds, and so trying to create some dissonance. You probably notice this kind of a haunting kind of. Maybe this track might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's got a kind of a haunting, atmospheric kind of sound to it. It just kind of came out like that. And then for the last track, I added the textural pads Heareth. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Okay, very faint, very background. Let's listen to that. Okay, again, very background. It's low down the mix. I did mix it a little bit, not a hard pan to the right, but just try to separate it a little bit from the rest of the mix. And just a little something that kind of sneaks in there, adds a little bit of texture. Again, kind of goes with that uncomfortable, kind of haunting sort of sound. Probably because I've been watching a lot of the Queen's Gambit. Boy, what a genius show that is. If you haven't seen it, whew. Cinematography, the set designs, the acting, the score. Oh my gosh, one of the best shows I have ever seen. Just loving it. And interestingly enough, it has kind of a haunting nature. It's got some dark comedy elements. But anyway, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. So that is it. Very small kind of project, 8 tracks, just to kind of highlight that how easy it is to put together a kind of cinematic underscore track using free samples. These are free. They are awesome. I use the labs all the time. Do I have a lot of their other paid libraries? Yeah, of course I do. But if you're just starting out, start off with the labs. And here's the thing. If you can't create something that sounds amazing with the Spitfire audio labs, which are free, then forget about paying for sample libraries. They're not going to help you be any better. Start with what's available to you. Okay, I'm using Logic. For EQ, I did a tiny little high cut on the Granular Whale song and a low cut on the Dulcimer. There is nothing else added to this other than a limiter on the master track. Normally, I probably throw this in through Valhalla Reverb, and then I send it out to Ozone, do a little little mini kind of master. But just to give you a sense of how great it can sound without adding anything extra. There's no external reverbs or effects, anything. Very basic mix down, couple of pan choices, a couple tiny little EQ things. So just to tell you that straight out of the box, these sounds are awesome. So there you have it, my friends. Spitfire Audio. Check out their labs. Get all of them. Just download all of them, put it together, and create something amazing. So there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that. It maybe got a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I didn't want to skip over anything. So as you can see, very little processing done to that track. Couple of EQ things, couple of pan things. Start with great sounds. That's my best advice to you. Start with a great sound. Hit that record button. Just let it happen. So check out Spitfire Audio Labs, all free. Get all of them. Check out John Meyer's YouTube channel. Check out his music on Bandcamp. His stuff is awesome. I can't say enough good things about his channel, about his content, about the music he creates, about the videos that he shoots. He's got drone footage. He's using DSLR. I can't remember if it's GH5, but anyway, some really well shot stuff. He's got an eye for documentary filmmaking. I could see him going into that if that's something that interests him. If you want more, check out my link below. Okay, you'll get a free video if you just sign up It's a free video on improvising on piano. There's going to be more free content I'm going to add all the time. Right now you can sign up for, you get one free lesson, buy 3, get 1 free. And those are online music lessons with me one-on-one, 4 half-an-hour sessions for $79 Canadian. Awesome, one-on-one. I'm going to be putting together other online courses. It's going to be more free content coming soon. Check it out every Friday. Dan Tremblay Music. Thank you so much. Stay safe, my friends.